worldwide. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is the ultimate coping session for liberals nationwide. CNN's come out now. They're making fun of RFK Jr., taking shots at his voice, saying he's like got something wrong with his brain. I mean, that's what the Democratic strategists are doing now. It's all low blows. This is exactly what they do. They're very hypocritical. They say, oh, you can't call anyone fat. And then they make fun of Trump, even though Trump's in great shape now. He's lost so much weight. I mean, I heard Trump can run a mile in like 10 minutes. He's lost serious weight. But either way, guys, take a look at something like this. Empty seats visible at Trump's rally last night in Arizona. It's already been reported. He sold the entire place out. This is what happens with these Trump rallies. They'll sell out in the big arenas, 16, 19,000 seats, whatever it is, because it's also on the floor. So you've got all the seats, the 16, 17,000 seats in the stands, and also the floor seating. There's like 2 or 3,000 at these rallies. That's how it works. So he's got 17, 18,000 there. It's 2 or 3,000, or I think it's 5,000 more than Harris got, and it's fully sold out, and then it overflows, and there's another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people on the outside. I mean, in New Jersey in the spring, it was reported he had 100K. So that's what happens at these Trump rallies. It's oh, look at all the empty seats. You go to a sporting event, even if it's a sellout, there's empty seats. People go to the bathroom, they go get concessions. So they try and pick out empty seats here and there as part of their cope. When we know the facts, we know with Kamala, the curtains came down. It was ridiculous. And so that's what's going on. But we've also got so much coping. They're going after RFK Jr. They're making fun of him. We've got clips. We've also got this weird clip. You can see Vivek Ramaswamy, a prominent Democrat, now claims that it is absolutely patriotic to burn the flag. So what he's saying is that, because you're allowed to burn the American flag in the United States because of the freedom that we give, that's a patriotic thing to do. Just because you're allowed to, because we have a freer country than other places, that doesn't mean it's patriotic. This is how, and again, it goes back to the whole point. How fake is their patriotism? They think it's racist to be patriotic, but then 3 months before the election, they're like, no, we love America. It's such a great country. They're trying to kiss up to independence and say, this is our country. We need to come together. But these are the ones burning all the flags. They hate the flags. I mean, somebody tweeted out, the Democrats have taken the American flag back. They called the flag racist for the past 3 years. This is the new woke thing that they do. They call it racist. And remember, all the founding fathers are racist. They want the George Washington statues to come down. This is legit. And this dude, it's such a dumb argument because you can understand what he's trying to say, that, because our country allows you to burn the American flag because of our freedoms. Like in other countries, you can't do that because it's ridiculously disrespectful. But our country, you can do that. And so it's patriotic. That doesn't mean it's patriotic. It is the furthest thing from patriotic to burn an American flag. Just because our country is freer than other countries to where you can do it and not face a penalty, that doesn't mean it's patriotic. That is the dumbest thing ever. Because you can see where this dude's trying to equate because it's freedom, and it's extreme disrespect to the country. That's just a really dumb argument right there. Seriously, we've got more shots. CNN, they're coping, they're attacking, they're going after RFK. Anna Navarro, who spoke at the DNC, one of the tackiest things I've seen in politics is that, and that's a very low bar, Kamala Harris, rightfully so, didn't give him the time of day. And so they're basically saying that, and really, this doesn't surprise me at all. This is what they do, not only with people like RFK Jr., but also with foreign leaders. Look, they have no relationship with any country that they view as bad or, they don't respect. It's just weird. You have to have relationships with these people. Not everyone is going to agree with you. This is absurd, but this is just how these people think. We've also got this cope. Take a look at this. Kamala Harris still hasn't used her last move yet. Well, has she used her last move on Willie Brown? You all know who I'm talking about. Maybe he's talking about Willie Brown. Harris is playing chess with these fools while they are playing checkers. So I don't know if what are you referencing, Taylor Swift? I mean, really, with Kamala, the campaign is so bad. The only thing I can think of, because they're telling her not to talk about policies, the only thing I can think of is a celebrity. When you're talking about her playing chess, it has nothing to do with Kamala herself actually doing something, like having a really good debate or doing some type of, apparently there's rumors that she will be doing a Fox interview at some point, but it's like pulling teeth. They don't know when it's going to happen, possibly in September sometime. But when it comes to what is her big move? It's got to be some celebrity. Like the campaign, they tell her not to say anything because every time she opens her mouth, she goes down in the polls. So they're like, all right, we tried to slow roll out your policy. It's all communist, socialist crap. But now you need to just shut up. I mean, that's what the Democrats have probably told her. You need to just be quiet. And that's really what's happening. We've got this must watch September 2023. CNN does a segment on Kamala's unpopularity. And in it, Nancy Pelosi basically it says that no, I mean, she admits I do not want Harris to be Biden's VP. They ask her, do you think that Biden, Harris is the best VP for Biden? And then she gives a non-answer. And then she says that Kamala really doesn't do much of anything because she is the VP and she's got that weird face, just the weird like smile and everything like that. We've got Keith Olbermann. Keith Olbermann's got to be admitted into a mental institution. I make fun of liberals. We go at it. That's fine. But to be fair to all the other liberals, I don't think Keith Olbermann's got to be next level. It's crazy. We've got Jill Stein coming out again and saying, while we may disagree with RFK Jr. about many things, he is right about how the Democratic Party uses lawfare and dirty tricks to suppress Democratic competition and voter choice. The Dems preach about saving democracy, but in reality, they're working overtime to stamp it out. And of course, that's exactly right. It's like Antifa. They say they're anti-fascist, and then they go around in masks bullying everyone and beating everyone up. It's the exact opposite of what they say they do. So this is 100% correct, and that's Jill Stein saying it. You've also got, this is where it is. It's James Carville coming out and saying, you can see what he says about RFK. The boy ain't right, okay? There's something weird. And then he says he just did something wrong. He hit his head or something. And Carville looks like he's got, I mean, listen, he made fun of RFK Jr. Carville looks like he's really, I'm not going to say it, but like you can just, let's see what he says.
Weird. There's something there's an expression they use in y'all. That boy ain't right. Okay? There's something weird. You're weird. Okay? That's nothing wrong with being weird. But that boy ain't right. There's something wrong.
Well, there is something wrong with it, according to the Democrats. That's their entire rally cry, calling Vance weird.
He hit his head. I don't know what.
So he's like, oh, there's something wrong with his brain. This guy can barely talk. He can barely even get words out. If you watch him on Bill Maher, he was horrible. But no. There's something seriously wrong with RFK. Go make fun of his voice. I never made fun of his voice when RFK was an independent. I said it would lose him votes. I never made fun of it. This is very disrespectful what they're doing to RFK. And what a great moment that was. I believe there's the trickle down. Look at the crowd there. That's like 3,000 or 4,000 people alone. And you also do have, I want to see if I can find this moment where Gavin Newsom there. Here it is. Here's them mocking RFK's voice.
Trump. Yeah, I was watching that, and Donald Trump last week stood and said in front of a bunch of groceries and said, I haven't seen any Cheerios in a long time. I had Cheerios for breakfast. This was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And trying to get any logic out of that is good luck with that. Because it's, one, you can't understand what he says. Two, if you can't understand what he says. And I'm reminded of a line in Mel Brooks's Blazing Saddles when somebody gets up and gives an indecipherable speech. He says, who can argue with that? That's authentic frontier gibberish. And that's exactly what that is.
That was RFK basically completely exposed the Democratic Party. And it's like, it's gibberish. I can't understand him. I mean, he just exposed the Democratic Party, and Jill Stein agreed with him that the way they bully people out of elections. I mean, that's what they do. I don't know. It's just this weird code. It's like when someone like makes a point about you, it's just like, no, it's gibberish. Like what even? That's not even an argument. You want to argue? He made points. His argument against it is no one can understand him. It's like he makes all these points and then, but no one can understand him. It's gibberish. Well, no, he's got several points. You want to address them? Oh, wait, you can't. So just call it gibberish. That's right. And then make fun of his voice. And this is really what they're lashing out. They're lashing out. I don't know if you guys saw this about Brittany Mahomes. My goodness, man. Politics in this country. It's going to get worse and worse and worse until we get past the election. But you've got Brittany Mahomes. You guys know Patrick Mahomes, the superstar quarterback. He's been the best quarterback in the NFL probably the last 5 years. She did the ultimate cardinal sin. Oh my God. What did she, oh my God. She liked one of President Trump's posts on Instagram. Oh my God. Oh. And of course, all the Taylor Swift fans, because Mahomes is the quarterback for the Chiefs. Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce, the vaccine nut who's like just obsessed with Pfizer. He takes commercials with Pfizer, and all of these Taylor Swift fans. Oh my God, how could she? She liked a post. Like, I just can't. I can't do it anymore with this stuff. I really can't. Like, why doesn't Brittany Mahomes responded and said, to be a hater as an adult, but why not just say fuck off? Like, oh my God, I liked a post. Go fuck yourself. Like, seriously, I'm a grown ass woman. I wouldn't even address it, honestly. Like, seriously, I liked a post supporting someone in terms of politics, it's not. It seems like everyone supports Trump. Pretty much everyone. Now, I know there are liberals. I'm not trying to be tone deaf. There's 80 million people that voted. I get it. But just in general, it's RFK Jr., it's Tulsi, it's all these independents coming together. It's Elon, who was a liberal 4 years ago. They're all understanding. And this is what happens when you deal with this and you've got one party that is showing socialist communist tendencies that want to take away rights. And then also, by the way, that was a really good point with that. I forgot what was that point that I was just looking at. It's like the idea of the pure gaslighting. Like, they say they talk all of day 4 during the DNC about freedom. Meanwhile, they're the ones trying to restrict and limit all the rights. There are prominent Democrats, and a lot of that party wants there to be severe limits, or I don't know about severe, but they want there to be limits on the First Amendment for sure. They want bigger government. This whole idea, why is that party trying to argue for freedom? They want bigger government. That's a core principle within their current party. So arguing for freedom is just gaslighting everyone. Independents know that's ridiculous. So, when you've got this communist party, the people are going to stand up to this. This is not acceptable. And it's not only just that, it's also them trying to hide the communism and the socialism behind hope and try and hijack that narrative. And now it's like they don't even want to talk about their policies because they just want to enact them when they get into office. That is a strategy that they are trying to deploy. And that is not going to win. People will not vote for that. She will lose. They will get mad. They'll blame Russia again, and they can go home. They get, and they'll be like, oh, we're going to go to Canada. I have heard there's been people telling me, oh, are Republicans going to go to Russia if Trump loses? That's not going to happen, guys. Come on. That's not going to happen. But I'm sure they're not going to leave either. Remember, they were like, we're going to go to Canada if Trump wins in 2016, mainly because they were told by the media there was no way Trump was going to win. And Trump ends up winning, and they end up staying in the country, and we end up having peace for 4 years. And now we're dealing with 3 different wars. And yet they're still going to vote for Harris. It's like, voting for Harris is endorsing World War III, or at least increased escalations towards World War III. If you vote for Harris, that's just on a bigger global level. Now you can say, well, I'm a liberal, things like that, but just understand you're endorsing World War III. That's why they can't argue anything with wars. That's why Trump needs to keep talking about how peaceful it is. And look at what happened. Look at where it's going. They won't talk to Russia. They're escalating things. You've got Taiwan and China kicking off soon, with China possibly launching a mainland invasion. We've got all these situations. Now they're blaming everything on Iran. What if Iran does something to the United States? Are we going to go back there again to the Middle East? This is a total mess. We need Trump in to make sure we don't have a crazy war and keep our economy stable. And this is something that independent people see. And that's why Trump is very likely going to win. And all the experts are saying, I think if Trump's going to get like 320, 315 electoral votes and get a solid victory. It should be more, and he should win the popular vote as well, because we denounce communism. We denounce heavy socialism. They mainly say it's socialism, like Bernie Sanders, when really socialism in a pure form, it's a neutered version of communism. That's what it is. And then the next step up is communism. It's like the people have to realize when it comes to the unrealized gains tax that they have, the argument against it is, well, it's only for people making, over $10 million. Is that what it was? And even something like, $10 million, I don't think it's ever going to be a big issue for any of us, but it's not, with crypto, it's not crazy to get to prices like that. So it does become an issue, even if it stays at 10 million. But the point is, what they do is they'll acclimate you to it. So it's 10 million. That's like, well, what if we bring it down to 5 million? What if we bring it down to 1 million? It's not like they're just going to say, okay, there's going to be an unrealized gains tax on everyone just making over 100K. They would never do that because that would never pass. So you have to implement it and trick people, simple-minded people who don't have forethought to think forward, and say, oh, it's only for people that make $10 million, guys, don't worry. and that acclimates people to it, and then you go deeper and deeper and deeper and lower and lower and lower. That's how the rights get taken away. You have to acclimate people to something, and then they have to pay for all these social programs and things that, like, that's what they preach. They say we're going to give you all free health care. They have to pay for all this crap, and how they're going to do it is they're going to have to do ridiculous things that stifle the economy because you're taxing people on money they don't have. And then the argument is by any of the mainstream libs, well, that'll never pass. Well, then why is she proposing it? She's got like 5 proposals. One of them she's stolen from Vance. The other one she's stolen from Trump. And then she's got the massive socialist proposal with $25,000 on a down payment for homes, which will just destroy the housing market with the interest prices being jacked up and overall just inflate the market even more. And then her next proposal we can't even talk about because Democrats say it's never going to happen anyways. The tax, how about the original capital gains tax, 45%? And what even is that? Is there is it like over, if you make them over $1 million, or is it any amount? So these taxes are just so out of control, but they have to do this to pay for all the crap that they're promising. It's like they dangle all this stuff, and it's like, well, how are you going to pay for it? And they don't even want to talk about it. And they say, well, that'll never pass. Well, then how is it going to get paid? How are all these? How's the free health care? How's the housing? How's it all going to get paid for? $25,000, first generation, new homeowners. Well, they're going to have to tax people to shit, basically, and they don't want to admit it. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.